Like Sky is.
Oh god, this is such a good Knicks pick.
It
Man, this is
destroys.
this is
It
the
absolutely
Knicks game of
destroys.
dreams.
Great.
You gotta, if you pick Skywrath here, you've got to have something like Clockwork or Void that you're comboing with it, or this hero is. Rasta alone is not enough because Rasta.
What if it's core?
I mean, it's kind of good with Ember. Ember's got a really good setup at good range. I would argue.
I don't know. Okay,
Kyle, stop topping.
That I think. All right, I'm a little more on board with it now. You have all three heroes can set up for Skywrath combo.
What?
But
So they still don't have any. Well, they have a little bit of building damage. They have snakes, but that's about it so far.
yeah.
Kyle, I'm gonna need you to stop.
What? What'd I do?
You have plastic between your fingers.
No, it's a pin. It
It's a
says
butt?
Nerd Squad.
I'm gonna need you to stop.
Well, that's accurate.
I'm sorry. I like to fiddle with things.
It sounds like typing or something. Fiddle with something that doesn't make noise.
Get you
I'll
get you a
do
fidget
both.
cube.
I really like CDEC draft, guys. Or CDEC.
They only have
I'm
3
sorry.
heroes.
Yeah,
How can you say
CDEC.
that?
Because-
Chinese Dota
Because
elite
they picked
community.
Nyx Assassin.
It feels like Aster still don't have a true answer to a late game Morphling. And
Yeah.
in addition, Nyx is a pretty good hero against not just the supports, but you hunt Ember very effectively. Because you just Carapace his Flame Guard.
Nyx is pretty good against a lot of things
Yeah.
that are in the meta right now. We talked about this at the minor. It feels like in a lot of these drafts, picking Nyx is like extra bans.
That's true. He did get some nerfs. That new level 1 Vendetta hurts quite a bit. But
The break.
well, I just mean the longer cooldown.
Was that the pick here? I mean, a lot of offlaners are banned, but mm,
I think it's more that a lot of the heroes that traditionally counter Darkseer would not fit into Aster's draft.
oh, he doesn't Ember and Sky both kind of counter Darkseer? The answer is yes, Alan, as a hint.
Ember does, for sure. I don't know where the Sky... What are you talking about? Support Skywrath counter Darkseer? Or are we talking about core
I
Skywrath?
mean, you outlane him. You just spam Q on him. And eventually you kill him with the Ember Spirit, yeah.
I think the Darkseer is more just about having some team fight to delay the game here.
Oh,
Just constantly spam waves, let the Morphling farm up.
I agree. I just think they need some sort of mid playmaker now. Like I'd like a
Oh,
stun.
yeah.
I would
Yeah,
like. You have the late game with the Morph. You've got the team fight now. But give me a DK, a Kunkka.
Yeah,
this
Kunkka's
type of-
banned. Yeah, Razor gets banned. I can
Yeah.
see what you can. It's something along those lines. You just want someone that can run around with the other 3 heroes on your team while the Morphling AFK hits creeps.
I mean, don't you just go push? Don't you think about something like a Death Prophet?
DP's good too. I like DP. But I think it's I like Dragon Knight a bit more, I think.
I don't think they
DK's fine.
No, the Death Prophet just gets blown up, doesn't she?
Yeah, exactly. Whereas DK is just
You need
What's up?
you need someone. I think you need someone tanky.
I
don't know,
I
man.
feel like you buy an armlet and a BKB, and Aster actually just can't kill these cores of
Yeah.
CDC. And the damage output, you already have the AA, so
But you're picking DK. You'd be picking DK into a team that's relying on magic damage. This is fine too, though.
It's fine. You can just buy
Yeah.
Axe. 30% magic damage. It's a hood.
Yeah.
it's still a stun, playmaker, tower push. It's what they were needing.
Yep. Pretty nice with the. They got a lot of AoE magical damage. I just have a lot of AoE in general. Also, Leshrac biofast Yules. That's nice to
There you
have
go.
against the axe.
Well,
And
we were
Anti-Mage
talking about.
coming in.
This is what I was wondering, right? That this is one of the traditional counters to Darkseer, including in the lane, or maybe even more so, mostly so in the lane. I just don't know how well it fits the draft.
I think you needed something like this. It had to be a 22 pick that had game-changing potential.
What's 22 mean, Kyle?
A 22 pick means last overall. There's different ways to determine like what pick order, but I'm trying to get into the habit of using what the pros like to do because it's just simple. If you say 22 pick, it means last pick for second pick. If you were to say 5th or 6th ban, you know that that's the last ban of the first phase for either side. It's just a much easier way to know what you're talking about.
Like teeth.
So here's the question,
Exactly.
right? In like half the game programs that we see, AM just basically doesn't get to play Dota.
What do you mean the game programs? What does that mean? You were
In
running
like
simulations?
half the pro games
Gotcha,
that we
sorry.
see.
I just wanted to make sure.
I
that was-
also heard what Kyle said.
Thank
Oh,
you.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Sorry,
fucked
I'm
it.
not articulating well. So convince me that AM gets to play Dota in this game. Because I
don't think that's my
AM
responsibility, Alan.
I think AM, by the time he gets his Battle Fury, he's down 3 towers.
I think you could be right. However, a lot of this is on the Ember Spirit, and I do feel like the CDEC flaw in the draft is that the only hero that can really rotate is Leshrac, and he's quite squishy. the supports have a very difficult time rotating mid, especially to kill an Ember Spirit. And I just think that AM will have hard free farm against the Darkseer. And to your point, while I do agree with it, I think that there is pressure on CDEC to end this game early.
Wait, the
You're saying
how
that
do
they're
wait,
not going
so
to
the
be able to win
morphling
late?
the morphling doesn't go toe to toe with the anti-mage like
No,
So the way it works is your CDEC draft is stronger for probably the first 20, 25 minutes or so.
Right.
Then Aster has this 10 to 15 minute window where
Of,
they
like,
could take a
peak
game-winning
anti-mage?
advantage.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
But when Morph hits like that 5th item or 4th item or an Aegis plus a 4th item,
Right.
that's when you start
Okay.
to have major issues.
Oh,
Yeah, so all right, we got
It's pretty close.
actually that's very close actually.
I think that's probably about right, actually.
So-
If AM gets online in this game, he's terrifying in that window. He plays super well against that opposing lineup.
Even with 3 less towers.
But that's the problem. That's I think by the time he gets Battle Fury, he's gonna be down 3 towers, and that's GG. This is interesting. Is this the mid player for Aster? Is this Chuan kid, the Malaysian kid?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. This is I just saw in the
yeah.
lobby. He's
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Chion.
A lot of pressure on him to perform.
For sure. Well, I'm sure he's played a lot of Ember Spirit. He's got we got a gold Ember, we got a gold
Ooh.
anti-mage. And what best is this silver on Leshrac and the Nyx Assassin?
Oh, XM playing
You
in
have
the
no
safe
silver
lane too on
experience.
the
You only
left
play like gold and above
Huh?
characters. Is that what the issue is here?
Well, I mean, you have to play to get there, but oh, you mean
I'm
like
saying you don't recognize pennies anymore. You're like, what is this child's money? You know?
Do you agree with this, guys? Is Morphling sort of? Do you prefer having him mid in most games now?
I've been seeing him still like side lane a decent amount, but mid seems safer, and it's a pretty good matchup against the Ember.
Yeah.
So
Better chance of you not getting zoned out because your overall health is lower, right? And your range is low
Yeah.
too. So if you're mid,
That's a good point.
nobody can really harass you. It'd have to be normal stuff.
Yeah. Now that we know that this Skyrath is support, he's very susceptible to getting nuked out of lane.
James just walks in here and they send in the Darkseer as a distraction, and then Nyx Assassin just waits on the hill and runs down and grabs
That's
it.
the best strat.
All right.
So-
3 bouncer runes for CDEC.
Kyle, we know you like hats. How do you feel about that new Skywrath Immortal?
I think it's really cool, and it fits the lore and the standard set of Skywrath.
Do you
so I
like the
think it's
little
fine.
bird it shoots out?
Oh yeah, I think that's very, very good.
I wore my Skyrath T-shirt for just the occasion. Come
Nice.
on.
I thought it was a Vengeful Spirit t-shirt.
It's both.
Why not both?
Pick one.
I'm really curious to see how XM performs in this qualifiers. We got the glimpse of him standing in for maybe with LGD this season.
He had a really nice game on Wind Ranger yesterday. That was the last game that Purge and I cast.
Someone other than we having a nice game on Wind
I
Ranger.
mean, you casted a nice
That's
left
pretty
through.
surprising.
Sure. Okay, so I was wondering if they were going to backlane a little bit, but Boca has already dragged the wave, so looks like that is the plan. XXS just takes a little detour to salve up.
Are you guys tired of this? The creep
what,
cut.
what do they
Yes,
do about it?
We
though?
talked about it yesterday.
Okay, you
A
are
few
really
times.
all right. I didn't hear, but yeah, that's kind of the question that I've. Sorry if this is retreading old ground, but I'm not sure what you do about it.
Well, you don't need to apologize, Alan. We love you.
I mean, I can think of a lot of really contrived solutions, but they don't feel very Dota to me. Like, I didn't like the no aggro on the first wave.
I agree.
As a solution, I don't think that's a good way to fix the problem. You can think of really dumb stuff like, oh, maybe like lane creeps don't take as much damage if enemy lane creeps aren't nearby or something, right? Like they have a buff that only gets dispelled by getting close to the enemy creeps, so it makes it harder to do this. But is that an elegant solution? No. It's very clunky, and you're just specifically playing against you don't want a specific thing to happen, so you just create a specific, really unintuitive mechanic to deal with it.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that's one of my least favorite tools to balance is to
Agreed.
just, instead of changing the incentives around why players play the way that they do, just saying, oh no, you can't pull this wave, but they'll just pull the next wave. So
Exactly.
you didn't actually solve the problem that you were trying to fix. So.
You know, Kyle, when you started talking about incentives, I was watching the screen, but I could feel the couch shaking as the economist nodded along with you.
That is accurate, friends. We do deal in those things.
Yeah.
But it's just too good, right? You can get the full lane of farm uncontested plus jungle camps. So why would you not do it?
Yep.
Okay, I like this though, that they aren't gonna settle for just chain wave cutting. They are gonna pressure this AM because he's benefited from the Darkseer shenanigans in the first couple of minutes.
Baboka's on his way. He's only level 1 though, so I don't know what he can really do. No mana on this Nyx. Does have a mango.
Man, you want to talk about a name that I am shocked that we haven't heard anything about this. Baboka a couple of years ago looked like he was going to be the
Best
next four-position player for a long time.
What they did, that was around the time when they destroyed roaming, though. So that's part of the problem.
Yep.
He kind of got hit with a. It's rare to say that
they
happens.
want Baboka, but they got the shackles on 1, 2, 3. He is already out of mana, so not taking too much damage from the anti-mage. But where is he gonna go? I think he's just out of here.
To the grave.
And they are chasing on the other side. Baboka versus
boy.
James, but can he actually finish it?
Wow!
Oh, gives him the Bob Ross.
Nice.
Eat that tree. Good.
First blood
now
to
he
the
has a
AM,
completely empty inventory. Check it out.
Where did it? You planted 2 trees or something.
I
You had
remember-
to.
Did he have 2 branches?
Yeah.
I remember having a conversation with a player about this and how meta shifts just sort of change at times, like how good a player is.
Yeah.
In reference to like Matamba Man, how he's an incredible player, and TI7 was like kind of his patch, right? The Viper, the Lone Druid, the Necro, these were all very meta heroes. And as they effectively disappeared, and they're not even pickable anymore, it's difficult to just adapt your play style. You know, you learn to play Dota, you play for 15,000 hours. There's a certain way you like to play.
On feeling.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
And Baboka's another good example of if you destroy roaming, you sort of destroy Boka's understanding of the game.
And that's what I was
And-
going to add is that there's not
success.
it's not just the individual heroes, it's what the players are doing with those heroes gets nerfed. It's not just the Earth Spirit, the Riki, the 4-position Monkey King get nerfed. It's roaming in general is nerfed as well. So it's kind of a double whammy.
Yeah, and then the context is like, you're playing for millions upon millions of dollars. So
Yeah.
one hero being strong could increase your chance of winning
No, I mean
drastically.
No, there's a good case that like
Bounty runes.
OG got nerfed out of TI. Right?
right.
You win 5 majors and they nerf everything you do.
Shion comes down. It's going to be 3 for Aster.
All right.
It's cool too. To that point,
4.
they abused.
4 bounties.
No. It's bottled and then used.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. XM
This-
got one.
This is
It's still
probably
here.
a topic for Phil, but OG abused like Radiance and Illusions and just this
Oh, yeah.
this constant sustain, right, to win the majors. And then this last TI, they had like kind of a twist on it, but it was with like the damage reduction
Armor,
stacking
damage amp,
on
right.
Spectre. I still think people don't understand how insanely broken that was, where Spectre was doing AoE dispersion damage pre-reduction with like 60% damage reduction.
Well-
so people would try to kill the Spectre and just die.
It triggers me. People still talk about Warlock Spectre as if it's just about the lane. Like, do the math on Fatal Bonds and Dispersion.
In some trouble. James going to try and save him. They do get the cold feet proc, but the battle hunger is too much. Look at this build from XXS.
It's Suraction slacks, dude. This is
Max
literally what
battle
he does.
hunger.
No.
That's his build. He doesn't get call. He's like, nah, I don't need call.
Why would you skip? Yeah,
Man.
At least early on. This is so good at
Yeah.
at killing the supports trying to contest you, backlaning and jungling.
He gets call at like level 10 or something ridiculous.
Okay, that sounds questionable, but
This is the tough part about playing Darkseer as well when you're last picked by AM, because you want to backlane and be aggressive, but not only because AM easily farm under tower and free farm, and it's a dangerous hero to give tons of CS to, but you're so mobile, it's very easy to just blink across and threaten kills, so you aren't able to play as aggressively as you usually would, especially now that he's got treads and a life 2 vote.
Oh, yeah. And
Treads and health.
he's a good halfway to his Battle Fury, and there's no tower pressure at all coming out from CDEC. This, as an AM player, you're delighted right now.
XM takes some damage, but also fires a little bit back at XXS. Lots of salves being popped in this bottom lane. And now phase boots on this axe. All right. Here we go. He's actually gonna do a lot of right click damage if he's just chasing somebody down. And he's fast.
Armor, dude. I'm
Yeah,
telling
the
you.
armor.
The phase boots armor is like
They also gave him the plus 10 base move speed just recently, right?
Yeah,
so
that's true.
he's on that like Wraith King Ursa level of the phase boots just make him crazy.
I
not true.
actually am
Ursa's real fast.
surprised
Ursa's
that
very fast.
I'm surprised that the boot I was looking at the boot statistics in Pro Dota since that change, and I'm surprised they're not more skewed. Phase boots are the most common, but it's only like It's not by that much over Treads and Tranquils. I thought, or Arcanes rather. I thought it was going to be a lot more.
That's your stat. Not that much. How much is not that much?
It was like last couple of lands. It was like 300 builds to 250 for the next closest.
I think it's just because they nerfed the movement speed boost for range heroes so much. It's like
yeah,
really shit.
That's true.
The melee one's like godly. It's like 25% movement speed, but for range heroes it's like 10
22 versus
That's
10.
a good point.
Yeah, it's complete. It's like 30 movement speed for range hero. So if I ever buy a range hero, it's like I really need armor. Is the only reason I like getting it.
That's a good point. We've gone back to the supports being prominent.
All right, AA did manage to deny that that DD, but he is not going to get out of there. Chigon swoops over and grabs the kill.
Nice movement. That's to be expected too. If anyone's going to rotate here, it will be the Ember. But
are you happy with what? If you're Aster, are you happy with what your Skywrath pick has done so far this game?
I honestly have no idea, but he's been a part of some kills. It's just a question of whether you think the hero is value or not. Typically, you'd have a save support in that role.
I think you're super happy with what's happened in the top lane. That's the main thing.
Kama's doing great.
And I think if you take the first tower of the game as Aster, you've got to be.
Yeah. Morphling is also pretty fun though. We haven't been checking in on Eve too much, but doing nicely in the mid lane though. Not really much of a counter to the Ember. It would seem. Like, Chigon's still farming fairly nicely. I don't know if he's gotten a couple of bottle refills. He's also, looks like he's going to be jungling a little bit.
I like this.
Oh, top lane. That was a really nice hex onto the illusion to immediately kill it. I think he's in trouble here.
Yeah.
Probably going to go down.
Trying to block
nice
him
body
in,
blocks
and
tree
there's
cuts.
the shackles. 2 points.
Long range.
A lot of damage. Switch it over to the Intreads. There's the Mana Void.
Very nice.
Oh, kill steal by Q though with the level 1.
Oh, yeah, with the level 1
Ether shock.
I like it. However, I would have probably saved for either the Ember or the AM, but you're all right with it. Eve is off to a really nice start in the mid lane. I'm just concerned that he won't. You can't really pressure tower too hard rather, when there's an Ember and a Sky in the game.
Yep.
That's one reason I like Baboka's hero choice here, because you can't play as aggressively as we saw Resolution do earlier in the NA games against Complexity.
Yeah, that's what a lot of the Morphling picks, when they look really good, is when Morphling at this point in the game can go full agi and just get free tower damage.
He wanted that bounty.
Oh, wow.
The Shrine's on cooldown, and they've got a lot of damage. They do TP in here on the Morphling, but he doesn't have the mana for the slight chain. So is there even chain? Yeah, there are 2 points in chains.
Yeah. And especially when it comes to TI time, I just got to favor Aster's draft from this position, solely because it seems easier to execute. They've got an easier time finding kills right now. And as the game continues, I think they'll outscale.
That may be a little Captain Hindsight talk in there. I get what you're saying,
do you mean?
but
I said I think Aster's one of the best teams in the tournament at the start of the draft.
How dare you?
Don't take my role away.
All right, lots of stacking. Ember farming up quite a bit. Morphling, he's got this Ring of Health picked up. Is this just going to be a Lincoln? Seems like a pretty decent game for Lincolns.
It kind of looks like it's just like a temporary, I don't want to buy Mask of Death, but I do need some regen item. I don't necessarily think he has to rush the Lincolns. It's not very good against Morphling or against AM, I feel like. I guess it's pretty good against the Sky.
There's good stuff to block, but there's
level
also
3.
a lot of stuff to pop it, is the thing. So, and now we got the Master Boards getting dropped. This Shadow Shaman has been so popular. And we had what you were talking about yesterday, Kyle, that Mineski, they were apparently scrimming Chinese teams a lot, and they picked Shadow Shaman every game in the grand finals.
It's
they love that hero. Boogie was rocking it.
It's one of those TI heroes. It's a lot like Earthshaker.
Yeah.
Shadow Shaman, late game, you land CC, and the other team doesn't have save, or a hero's caught alone, he's dead. He is dead 100%. You drop boards, it's easy towers, and it's just a nice hero to have in a draft when people are playing more passively and scared than usual because there's so much pressure.
And he can also just like in lane, he can just walk up and hit you in the face.
That too.
The hero just does way too much base damage.
He does silly damage. It's also interesting. We've been seeing people. I think traditionally, or in pubs at least, we used to always see the Ether Shock max. But we have been seeing in these last couple of games people opting for more points in the other abilities. Kind of like you were talking about Grimstroke. Purge, right?
Yeah, you can be flexible, but it works better on Shaman to go more disable like these days, because all these like early game fights, the amount of disable you have when you max out Hex is like game changing. You can rely on your cores to do damage. But then if you roll into a fight and you Hex somebody for 3.5 seconds, then you can also channel Shackle for another 3, that's insane disable
Yeah.
from a support.
I think that when you put more points in Q, it's oftentimes better as a 4 position specifically, and of course Q is playing the 5. And in addition, they have 3 cores that are all able to quickly push lanes. So he just needs to be
Axe
locking
ties
down.
fast at bottom. They come in, they get the chains onto the Leshrac. Do they have enough damage?
Oh,
He's
nice.
got no
Man.
Yules to disengage.
That was flawless. That's a top 5 MMR China player in Chuan.
What did you dodge the splitter?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
It's
There's a
also
lot
the
going on.
first time this game that Leshrac has tried to edict a tower, and he just gets
He just got slapped
immediately
for
blown
it.
up.
Yeah.
I mean, that, oh boy.
Yeah, comboing Slight with it is really good because it takes a long time to. Like, I feel like whenever I play Sky, I never get a full duration ulti ever.
Yeah.
Until you get like an Atos or something, and then by the time you have Atos, they have BKBs, and then it doesn't happen anyway. So,
But it's
I
got to
don't know
feel
how he
so
got
good in
6,
this game where,
but-
think about where it was picked in the draft, and all 3 heroes picked around it, Ember, Shadow
Oh.
Shaman, and Axe, have just
All right,
this
they're
great
coming
setup
in.
for it.
They want the Ember. Can he dodge? Nice slight. Jump away.
He did get
Xion
blasted,
wasting their time.
but
Well,
That's-
he got ice
that's so
blasted,
hard.
but didn't get stunned.
it's so difficult to land that.
Yeah, he's currently second in on the leaderboards, by the way. And XM, number 3. And 1, 2, 3,
Dang.
number 4.
Who's second? Chuan?
Yeah. And guess who's
Wow.
number 1 Chinese leaderboards?
Paparazzi.
It's you.
No.
It was Kyle the whole time.
It is SCCC.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I did see that the other day.
And incredibly, Zhao 8 is number 16. Although it could just be an impersonator. I don't think he plays enough Dota to be top 16. If he does, though, that'd be pretty impressive.
The Mud Golem. All right. They don't get the chains. Surge away from the river. James is going to survive, it looks like.
I think Nyx is like the only hero that can get that Yule's kill on Ember with.
He's still just chilling up here on the high ground. They do have vision
He's just
from the Radiant, but oh, he's gone. All right,
Man.
Nice.
walked back into the sentry.
I want to play Skywrath on a team with setups, dude. This looks so much fun.
Yeah,
It's
it
like you
does.
actually get to play your hero.
Sky Axe has been a combo for a while. It was, I think, it's a Final Tribe. There was some team, I think Ira was playing on it, maybe before TFT. They always picked Skywrath, and Jonas, some fan I remember, was always playing Axe.
Dude, no,
And they
Jonas,
just ran
with
at
Jonas,
people.
it was Clock.
That too, yeah. Sky Clock,
Yeah.
Sky LC, and
Sky
Sky
LC,
Axe.
that's
yeah.
right, that's right. Yep.
3 bounties for CDEC, but still down by 2K net worth.
That was like last year, right before TI, is when that got really popular, the Sky X thing, with all the nuke damage, with like LGD and Liquid and stuff like that.
Okay, we got Axe Blink. 1 point in call by level 10.
Told you, man.
Sir Action Slacks approved.
He's been watching Slacks' old VODs.
Well, I feel like as CDC, you got to make something happen here. This is your morph is just not going to have much of a window
and
where he can.
Look
do
at this.
it.
This Darkseer just doesn't really look like he has a whole lot, right? He's not too far
He's got
behind
so
the
much
Axe.
bling. It's got 3 rings, dude.
Oh.
The concern I have as well is like Eve is going for a Lincoln's first. So
Yeah.
it's like nice, but your main threat here is non-Lincoln's disable. It's Taunt from the Axe.
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
it's the Ember Chains, and you know it's not as if Rasta Sky don't have a bunch of spells to cancel.
So do you want him to get Manta first? Is that the...
Maybe the Lifesteal Yasha, yeah, the
Yeah.
Lifesteal Manta build into Shotgun or BKB or Scotty.
Look at this.
I
Tank for your siege creep,
I
and
kind
then
of-
get the last.
I kind of agree with you guys, but we saw Morphling do the same negative things yesterday, and then he still stomped anyways. Because, like,
Later on.
it literally doesn't matter what items he has. He just has to turn into a different hero and then have utilization
Yeah.
of 2 sets of skills, and he
True.
still impacts a lot.
But what hero is he going to turn into that's going to have that super high impact?
Oh,
Ember Spirit?
Eve.
Sky
They
is
see
probably
him.
not bad
He's
either.
silenced. He is morphing strength. Do they have enough damage for it here? Looks like they might. James
What?
gonna try and bail out his carry player. All right, they're gonna get the shackle on the next assassin. They're gonna take him instead.
He was invulnerable.
Good lord.
He's going to have Battle Fury Yasha at like 17 minutes.
Well, he said
He's pretty much already got
he
it.
just has to turn into Sky, put a silence on some guy, and then E-Blade. Blast him, and he's going to
Ooh.
explode.
Yep.
Like,
I wanna
actually
see
fucking
that.
explode.
Okay, so what's the like 4-slot anti-mage this game? What's the anti-mage timing? Are you playing? Is it the traditional
it's-
kind of like BKB Abyssal? Are we gonna see a Scotty? Call it out for me, guys.
I believe we will see a... Butterfly is so good this game. Just have to make
They
sure you don't get
really
walled.
want XM. Couldn't get the Yules up. Ice Blast coming in to counter initiate. Now he gets the Yules. Decent damage getting turned around. They are trying to focus him down. They look for the +1. Get the shackle onto the Ancient Apparition. Walking in just a little bit too close. And there you go. Aster will take a
Man.
double kill for Cheon.
Just too easy. And this is the problem with the CDC lineup and my concern with the Lesh. You don't have a hero that looks to get involved and can actually, like, tech.
Yeah.
Someone's going to get initiated on. You're playing against Axe Ember. But none of these heroes on CDEC can actually frontline, and they don't have any save. So, sure, you can Yols yourself up in the air as the Leshrac, but there's so much lockdown and damage on Aster, it's not really saving you, and
Wow.
you have to be ahead to...
Ooh, is he going to Carapace the way? Okay. No.
Nah.
He wanted
To be fair, right? Kyle is the ultimate Leshrac defender, and he's saying this. It should
true.
mean something. And you did call this out in the draft, man. And in theory, on paper, in this draft, right? Darkseer is supposed to be your frontliner. He's supposed to build the utility items. He's supposed to be leading the charge in the fight. But he got shut down. This is exactly what happened to Mind Control at the major.
Yep.
He
And
got shut down so hard in the laning phase. He's never been in the game.
see, if he's able to get ahead and he's playing with like an HOD creep at 9 minutes, this is a totally different game because you can link up with your Leshrac and you're the most powerful heroes on the map.
Yep.
But when you're going for this hood build, you don't actually
Okay, in trouble.
do things.
And this concept that we've sort of talked about a bunch, Kyle, but never formalized, this idea of effective net worth, right?
Yeah.
6,000 gold on Axe in this game is just so much more impactful than 6,000 gold on Darkseer.
That's a very good point. I think that if you look at the really popular heroes in the meta, effective net worth is the key. You look at Ember, right?
Yep.
With Drum's Maelstrom phase and level 14, AK net worth, you feel way stronger than this Leshrac right now. Far more useful
Is
than
that a
even
big
the
part of the
Morphlane.
Ember, you think? He just uses all of the good items at the moment? Because these are all
Oh
like,
yeah,
these are all good items.
Dude, look through the history of like the metas, right? The Mask of Madness patch. What did we see?
Yeah,
You know?
the Troll, Sniper,
Drow,
Jug,
Luna.
Yeah.
You know, when
That's
there
true.
was a patch where Armlet was super good, we saw a bunch of strength heroes. There was a Midas patch. Midas Radiance
there was
patch.
another
Oh, I
Maelstrom
don't miss
patch
that.
as
I
well.
do
No, I
not
don't.
miss that.
Yeah, it's something. There's obviously a lot of factors that go into what becomes meta, but I think that the powerful item builds sort of dictate in a way the powerful heroes that can use those items the most efficiently.
Oh, James, we've seen him in this place before. He is in trouble and going to get called. Does get the break, so no spins, but whatever. There's a dunk for him.
What skill build is Sky going?
Sky maxed the
It's been
concussive
silenced
shot
after,
first,
okay.
and then
I like
seal.
that. Such a good silence game.
Yeah.
He's going Aether Lens too, which is a little interesting, but I think it makes sense
Okay.
considering his team has so many good different grabs that he can
Yep.
pretty much always react quickly to what's happening.
And there's no real initiation on the side of CDEC. That's another concern with the draft. The Darkseer, when he falls behind, it makes the Nyx behind as well.
Yeah.
And James, as you could see, like he wants to get aggressive, but at the end of the day, he has to walk at heroes under the cover of Invis. If there's sentries down, he will die.
Were those odds flipped based on the teams at the top?
They had them labeled right. They just had them on the opposite sides.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it was labeled CDC on
Yeah,
the right.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
I was
Yeah,
going to say, because I was
it's
like,
just- it
Aster's
just looks
definitely winning.
weird.
That's
with
just,
the
that's just,
in-game
that's just
overlay.
like the
Yeah.
Betway API.
It's fine.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
I just
it is
wanted-
a little bit confusing, but you just have to read the names, and those are the accurate odds for those
Yeah,
accurate
I
names.
just wanted to make sure because I was like, Aster's definitely winning this right now. I'd be surprised if they
Yep.
weren't the high stack, but
Man, it's hard to see a way for CDC back in this game. They need
Morphline's
need
got
a
a 1v5, right? That's the
yeah. Well, they need it's not just the 1v5. They need to force a good 5v5
Oh.
fight where they get like a 3-minute.
All right, nice spike to Carapace, setting it up. Follow-up stuns. Can they actually get this Ember? XM walks
Okay.
in for the last little bit. Very nicely
That's step
executed from CDEC.
And you have a Leshrac lineup, and
Yeah, they got BKB on XM now, so he's going to be a little bit less vulnerable, and CDEC actually wanting to head straight into the
I love
pit.
it.
All right, do they have, so no medallion or anything, they're just relying on the Morphling damage. It's still kind of early, so they can potentially just punch this down. Do Aster have any idea that this
Probably
is
not.
going on? They do seem to be rotating over.
they're smart boys.
Yeah.
They can figure
I
it
was
out.
just
Alright.
wondering, do you buy out as Ember here? Probably not.
I don't
Just
even think he
15.
has to. It's 10 seconds.
Yeah.
Anti-mage
close,
is here.
Like realistically, this Radiant team is not a good Roche lineup.
No.
Well, still a nice pickoff, but they don't get too much more out of it, unfortunately.
I like the build on the AM as well.
Straight into
there were-
Basher Abyssal.
There were a couple options. I feel you could have gone like maybe the Butterfly Heart, but that's a bit weak against Darkseer. It makes the illusion super
All right,
strong.
this is just a smoke gank. They don't actually have the Vendetta. Silence coming in on the Nyx Assassin. Baboka hides in the trees, and Aster just backing up, resetting, and no fight.
Yeah.
But CDC, they wanted that. The Roshan is healing back up now, so.
They could have finished that for sure. It got low enough, I feel like.
Oh, final point on AM, Abyssal BKB. That's the big power spike for AM.
For
if
sure.
they can get an Aegis as well, the AA, the Nyx,
yeah.
the Darkseer, the Lesh, all of these heroes are
Everyone's a
susceptible.
liability, right?
Yeah.
Like you just jump one guy, and then that Mono Void
Yeah.
can potentially kill the whole team.
Yeah, how have we not talked about that before now? I mean, they have nothing. If AM gets BKB, there's nothing.
Nothing touches him. Yeah.
And that's also, he not only can buy one and then act with impunity, he forces the Leshrac to go second item BKB. This is the first time I've seen it in this qualifier, and it's not what you want to do. You want to be able to go for this really greedy, selfish build.
Well, it's not just the
pioneered by
AM.
Sibel.
Right? I mean, think about what happened early on the first time he tried to push a tower. He just gets blown up by the Skywrath combo. And that's the thing. He still has to play carefully because having that BKB in your inventory doesn't matter if you get blink called by Axe. Although I guess that's enough of an animation that you've got time.
Yeah. Speaking of Axe, he's going to be going for BKB as well. So could be a very strong BKB timing coming up for Aster. And yeah, Anti-Mage not even going to go for the full Abyssal Blade. He also just wants to line up a BKB timing with the Axe, and that's going to be maybe their strongest moment. They go take a fight with the two BKBs. They can drop snakes in the pit, get the Aegis for the Anti-Mage, and then he's just out of control.
So why did AM's build change so much in the last 6 months? This is his old
This is
classic
the standard
No,
build.
But people go
this-
Scotty
yeah.
all the time as third item, for example.
I think third item Scotty is overbuilt. Actually,
It is there's two different concepts. There you get the Basher / Abyssal when you're going for BKB timing, and otherwise you're going for an EHP focused just stat build with Butterfly and Harder Scotty.
They're looking for something. They see Q. This is just going to be a free pickoff on the Shadow Shaman. It looks like no one's even coming anywhere close. Anti-Mage is already off on the camp. So.
But your concept, Kyle, of carry atomization is always talking about acceleration, and I don't think Scotty accelerates AM at all.
Sure, but by the time you've picked up a Scotty, it's not about accelerating that much anymore.
Yeah.
It's
Are
better.
there really fights that Scotty's going to
Scotty
save
is
your
good.
life?
Scotty's good because a lot of the carries in the meta were strength heroes.
Oh,
Stuff like
yeah,
heroes like
alright.
Lifestealer.
Okay.
You don't want
Okay.
to play against an AM with Scotty because there's nothing you can do to actually go toe to toe.
Yeah.
And like Butterfly Scotty, you can't run away. You have to try and right click, and that's not so easy when you're behind in net worth.
As CDC most assuredly is here.
So no, Wimprov is still. What's up with that?
Yeah, but do keep in mind, they will run. They're on a clock of sorts. The Butterfly on
Yeah,
Morph is huge.
They are like being a little less aggressive, right? I feel like Aster is super strong right now, and they're being a little bit less aggressive than I expected them to be. I know you are waiting for this BKB timing on AM, but if he finishes BKB and they don't immediately look to take a fight, I think that's really bad.
And I want to point out real fast, the Leshrac, he was going bots, switched for a Kaya. I really like that choice, not just for the spell amp, but the 12% mana cost and mana loss reduction. Very good against an AM.
That's a good point.
Would not be surprised to see the Sange as well. Like, then you get status resist. It's very valuable in a game like this.
So does that mean you actually, as a minor technical matter, do
Correct.
you actually take less damage?
You
Oh,
take less
wow,
damage
okay.
because you have less mana burned.
I wasn't sure if the mana burn damage was calculated pre-reduction.
I've always wanted to fit that in with the Crystal Maiden aura as well. I don't
Oh,
think anybody
yeah.
ever has, because 14% or whatever. Like if you play with a Storm against an Anti-Mage or something, I thought maybe.
You're making
having
your
both
Crystal
would be
Maiden
worth.
very sad, though, asking her to
I mean,
take the mana cost, mana loss instead of the GPM.
Yeah, it's a big loss, but I mean, it affects your whole team. If you have a lot of spellcasters like Alina or something, that stuff is massive for her ability to stay on the map.
All right, here comes the timing, ladies and gentlemen. We got BKB, BKB, and BKB all completed. You got to just run at him as Aster.
Did you
now,
say
right?
BKB?
I think I said BKB.
Okay.
I think you said BKB.
But did I say BKB?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So smoke gank. Maybe who's got the smoke? Q's got it.
I feel like no region other than China would get this many BKBs coordinated at the same time. Second item, nothing.
I mean,
other region would for sure fit in up
Good
late
item.
mill or something.
All right.
It
James
is
is
a good item.
invis here at mid. He does still have the Vendetta as well.
I love this smoke behind the Anti-Mage. It's so tough to see this coming, and I especially like that they're smoking in the direction of their vision. If they were to go into the top area of the map, this becomes far more difficult. And even if they don't find kills here, it's still a high EV play.
They come play the high ground, just
it's
checking
hilarious.
if anyone's going to go for that big camp. This is very
How is this funny?
careful.
This play is literally
all right,
out of
jump
the
in,
oh, there
BKB
you
pop.
go.
They've got the taunt. Can they kill off this Leshrac? He's got a BKB of his own. XM pops it, and it just ends up being a BKB for BKB trade. They are not confident in chasing up into this no vision zone.
Yeah, that play Kyle is talking about, smoking behind the AM I mean, that is straight out of the Navi 2012 playbook. They used to do that behind Havosh all the time. It's a classic, and it's like one of the pick and rolls of Dota.
All right. Well, they're going to come and poke and prod a little bit. Do have those level 2 Mass Serpent wards. This is some of the safest sieging you're ever going to see. The Glyph does come in, so CDEC want to move into position, get ready to defend this high ground.
What do you guys think it's like when you're a creep and like all these super scary heroes about to murder you, but then the glyph comes out and they're just wailing on you,
I'm
and
really
then it goes away and you die?
I'm
Must be
really
weird.
surprised they're playing so passively, because in theory, CDEC don't have any true
Oh.
initiation.
All right. Ember got it.
It's like they had the one initiation onto XM who is BKB and lived, and they kind of hesitated after
Is
that.
this one more item syndrome, guys? Is this like
I hope not.
Oh, they jump in. All right, they found
There
James, and
we
he is
go.
dead.
Yeah, that should be a Roche. And the thing is, if you're going to initiate a CDEC, all you have is the Nyx. And theoretically, if you have a sentry down, he'll try and Yules. And if he Yuleses and tries to get the immediate stun, it's so easy then for either Ember or Axe to counter-initiate. And you can BKB and all in the Nyx. He's dead.
All right, CDC know what's going on. They're coming in. They've got a jump-in
Buyback.
call over onto the XM Leshrac. What can they actually
Well,
do?
Nick's
James
steady
TP
hand
straight
of-
in, but immediately gets hexed. He's looking very, very dead. Auto attack down by Camo, who's still looking for a little bit more. Eve comes
That's
into the middle of
questionable
everything. He just
waveform.
wants some kind of a kill. What can he actually get? Now they do have the vacuum wall down. They need to be careful of this anti-mage illusion. XM still on a decent amount of mana, so Mana Void is just going to get pump faked by Kama, and they back out. Bunch of BKB charges used, but all they got was the Nyx Assassin dieback.
Was that super careful there by Aster?
I don't mind
You guys
it.
feel like they could have pressed that a little
Maybe,
more?
but your BKB on AM was down, and
Okay.
you are in danger if there's a couple of stuns landed on top of you. There is no save on Aster. They'd used all their BKBs. You're going to shrine up instead. 30 seconds on the Nyx.
He's got the full
And runes in
coming.
15. So instead
All
of
right.
trying to finish that fight, they collect a free about, what, 2,500 gold by just doing nothing, although they're not playing the bottom side of the map, so they will lose those. It's actually a 2 for 2. Now I'm not sure I agree.
All right.
Yeah, I liked your point about you play it tactically, take map control, but yeah, they kind of okay. They've decided that Roche is going to be their objective. All right.
Well, this is your big timing now for Aster. The butterfly on AM is nice, but he'll have the Aegis and 4 items.
Nice blast. Scouts it, but CDC not really here.
Yeah.
Oh, they're mass TP into Shrine.
Yeah, they're coming in now. All right, XM.
They got to
James
know that
leading the way.
they may fight this after ages.
All right,
Oh,
they're doing
wow.
everything that they can to finish off this Roshan. They do get the chain stun under the Ember Spirit. He's got BKB, gets out of it. Chuyon surviving. Actually wants to keep the Nyx Assassin here. He's going to Yules himself. And James will just be able to walk away.
This is just a curious sequence of events, I'll be honest. The China qualifiers this far, I haven't seen the level of Dota I'd expected. Still probably
Agreed.
a bit of nerves playing a part, but
What's Aster's
It-
record at the moment? Is this a must-win game for them?
They came in 2-2.
Okay, so it's
so
not
they're-
it's not
they're-
must-win, but it
Everybody
might be
is between, as far as I remember, everybody's between 3-1 and 1-3, except maybe Sirius is 1-4 coming into today.
Yeah, I think Sirius are 1-4.
Okay.
Yeah, so they are not in a great spot. But and are they playing at the moment? No. Just having a look at our schedule. Okay, so this is what you were talking about, right, Kyle? This is that 15-minute
Yep,
anti-mage
they're
window.
in it.
He's at peak strength.
yeah, and as soon as this morph picks up his butterfly, which he's just the evasion portion away from, that's where things start to shift. It kind of equalizes their damage effectiveness in the fights, even though he's still behind a net worth. And that next item on Morphling, the level 20-25 talent, I think he'll go for the morph targets. Al? No, he won't need that. He'll just get waveform attacks this game. I
Once
think.
he gets Butterfly, he's going to be able to start like crapping on the
Yeah.
BKB heroes on the enemy
Exactly,
team that
yeah.
aren't farming super fast. And when he gets his item after that, then he's going to start like blowing up supports really easily. So he's on a really good trajectory right now, even though AM is way more farm.
Yeah, and at the same time, the utility items, even though Darkseer is still behind in farm, the utility items are starting to come out. He has that full pipe completed. Those are the things in these fights that are going to enable the Morph and the Leshrac to stand in and deal damage.
They're also pretty close to both a Lotus and a Linken's
Yeah, that's
as well.
super nice.
That's going to be... They've seen the Abyssal Blade, and they are itemizing against it. Alright, Anti-Mage chops down that tier 2. CDEC didn't want it anyway. And they are probably just going to keep on trying to stall out this Aegis and defend their high ground. XM is out pushing waves. He has a pretty good idea of where everybody is over on the Aster side, courtesy of this ward, but it does quickly get dewarded, and he does need to be careful. The Anti-Mage is very mobile, and he's looking for him, in fact. Kama, can he find him? Jumps in on top of him. XM getting chased down now. Won't be able to just BKB TP, so it looks like he is probably just straight up dead here. And does get auto attack down.
Yeah, he was going to turn in Yule's to AM, but when the Manta came out, it was just it's too hard.
Good counterspell as well to prevent the immediate Yules.
Yeah. I was going Daedalus on Morphling. Interesting.
He just needs some physical damage, I
Wow.
guess. Do you
Let
guys
me
like
see
this?
some stats about that.
That's
Did you
what
see
is that third item, Daedalus?
He got,
Fourth item.
he got waveform
okay,
attacks
alright.
targets.
He needs
This
to-
is his butterfly.
No, he'll be buying
Yeah,
an MKB
yeah, okay.
because
Okay.
the AM will beat him to Butterfly, and Eve will realize that he needs an MKB.
Beautiful.
We'll see. Kyle.
I mean, if you can't buy Daedalus against an AM going Butterfly, but we'll see.
All right, well, high ground we go. There is a Radiant Cliff available. CDC, what have they actually got? They jump in Abyssal Blade on top of the Nyx Assassin. That's just going to be a free kill, or is it?
no!
The Mana Void gets reflected. Anti-Mage
Aegis.
down. That is his Aegis gone. They do end up losing the Nyx Assassin at the end of the day, but they've got the Anti-Mage illusion. Glyph now coming in, and CDEC gearing up for this defense. Morphling
Huge ult.
does
Is that
have the Ember
Is that a
Morph.
4-man Ice Blast?
Yeah, Ice Blast coming in.
They're not going to get racks.
Wait, XXS, his face boots are on cooldown. That means he gets stuck by the cold feet, taking a lot of damage from this Morphling, getting trapped by his ally Serpent Lord.
And the Ice Vortex. Don't undercount
Oh my
that.
God.
The wards.
That racks hold is huge.
Wow.
Man, that's like watching Rubik steal spell and use it back on him, kind of. Because of the Nyx doing it. Normally it's Anti-Mage reflecting my stuns back on me. Feels good.
I love it when you sound like a traumatized support player, Kevin. It's just
Hey,
Wait,
AM,
I am
I
a
feel you,
traumatized
man.
support player.
I feel you, man.
If you cast a spell and it's Lotus plus Spiked Carapace, you take twice the damage back, right? It gets cast on you, and
Yeah.
then
yes.
Probably, yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
and then the Spiked Carapace will also reflect it.
Yeah, because you'll be
Yeah.
affected
I mean,
by
Anti-Mage
it.
wasn't missing very much mana, I don't think, so it wasn't a huge deal. But
do you guys think AM goes Mana Void here or the 25% extra Magic Resist? I feel like the Magic Resist
Ooh.
is mega value.
Magic.
It is.
If
Against
there
Darkseer,
was a
Lash,
game
A.
for it, this would be that game.
He's
Isn't
gonna
it-
have Butterfly.
that's the
Oh.
more isn't that the more common talent, the
The
Magic Resist?
Yeah.
Is
sure.
Ember Spirit the best Ags in Dota?
Yes.
It's pretty good.
I think I agree.
This is the timing for Aster. It doesn't get much better than this. Even though it's just the AK lead, it's all about the effective net worth. Can you check out current gold right now, Basskip?
Build that Daedalus.
Massive
Yeah.
power spike.
This is why. You've got everything spent on AM Ember. Axe, you've got a bit, sure, but he's got Blink Blade Mail, BKB Gem. He's ready to go. And yeah, sure, you've got buyback save now on your Morph and your Lesh, but it's just not enough. And I like this. Eve is switching up to a BKB. I think that's necessary. He just can't commit properly to fights without one. They need a really nice wall onto the AM and another 5 to 10 minutes, but I don't see Aster giving that to them.
But the BKB, that again, you were talking about the importance of him having MKB at least eventually against this Anti-Mage. That it increases the window in which the Morph can't directly threaten the AM.
It's true.
Oh, can they find this? All right, quick D-ward up on the high ground, and they've also got the
Oh,
call
yeah.
onto the Nyx Assassin. Follow-up damage, Anti-Mage a little bit trapped up on the cliff, but he just tops down, kills off the Leshrac, nice and easy. James also going to get dunked. In the back lines, Eve did go in, but he's losing a little bit of mana. He's got the Ember form to hide him, but looks like he has been taunted. XXS waiting for him. He's out of mana. The Mana Void coming through. It cleans up the AA as collateral, but the Morphling is still surviving. Eve's not dead yet. XM bought back into this game, and they're now looking for Cheon. They get him, and CDEC turn this around. Double kill for 1, 2, 3.
I have no idea how they won that fight. It looks so bad. They lost so many heroes repeatedly. And then Morphling
Buybacks.
completely got mana drained, bought time, and all of a sudden there's more heroes there, and they get cleaned.
It just feels like the story of Pro Dota this season is buybacks, and specifically buybacks in these mid and late mid-game windows. You know, we're used to in Dota talking about the 45 to 50-minute buybacks deciding games, and it feels like this season it's the teams that use mid-game buybacks the best.
You consider 37 minutes the mid-game?
That's fair enough. It's sort of the tail end of the mid-game.
AM's
In this
level
game, it's
25.
in this game, it's the late game for sure. But
I was giving you a hard
Kyle,
time.
like 38 minutes was the average match time at the major. So yeah.
Well, you haven't seen much of this qualifier, but these games have really
Yeah,
dragged on. And
yeah.
I think a lot of that is teams just playing very cautiously. Oh,
Oh, James is running in. Want something here. That is a Yule's on the Mud Golem. Not probably what they were hoping for. And over here, actually, Shadow Shaman getting caught out inside of the trees. Cameron just focusing over onto the Lushrock, but it's force staff him up onto the high ground. He chases, but now he's trapped inside the trees himself. Kama, all right, Blink gets himself out of there. That is a dieback on the Lesh.
No.
Down for 100 seconds.
but yeah. That's what I mean, though. Like, the AM's blinking backwards there. He had no BKB, I suppose, but Axe was there with the Blink taunt ready, and Ember was respawning. A big reason that fight went so poorly after the buyback was because Ember had used all 5 remnants. And as soon as you're out of those, you can't abuse the mobility. I'd like to see Aster just abuse their skirmishing potential. Just find kills, especially on this Nyx assassin who's still constantly trying to hunt invis. Control the map, kill these wards, take map control. And then you can abuse your reach.
All right, sizing up for maybe another fight. They are going to jump in onto the Morphling. Can they focus him down? He's still pretty tanky. Force staff him outside of the Skywrath damage, but they go for the backlines instead. Darkseer is the target. 1, 2, 3, just going to get focused down. Cheon jumping in there. On the other side, James also isolated from the team. They get one more. Looking like James might just tick out here. Can you get the blink away? No.
Man, Darkseer has buyback, but your AA does not. This is
No,
not looking great.
It's just you can't protect your backline, and you don't have true catch on CDEC, and Aster's abusing that. It's a big part of the reason the kill disparity is so high this game.
Yeah.
Crazy to me to see a game where Anti-Mage actually looks like the game-winning hero. Often we see it in the draft, and it's like, oh yeah, this looks like a pretty good Anti-Mage game. And to your point, Alan, you're like, oh, well, how many times do we see Anti-Mage just not have a game? But the other heroes played really well, Axe and Ember rotating around. And he had a really fantastic
Again, people focus on the Battle Fury timing, but it really, what it is the Battle Fury tower differential. How many towers have you lost by the time that Battle Fury is complete? In this game, the first time the Lush goes to Edict a tower, he just gets blown the hell up by that Skywrath combo, and CDC just didn't seem interested in pressuring the lanes at any point after that.
That's a good point. That happened a lot last night too. With we saw it with Death Prophets as well. It's like the Death Prophet and Lesh are kind of interchangeable in that they can just show up at a lane early, and if they get maybe one pick off, or if they show up very briefly, they blow the tower up. But having the Skywrath Mage get that fast 6 with the Sleight of Chains, it's like the Leshrac just didn't have the opportunity to survive and push, and then it's like their whole game tempo was just destroyed as a result of that one kill.
And I just don't know how you. What do you do?
There's no way back in for CDC. They still haven't lost the lane of Rax.
They need to capitalize on a mistake, but Aster, they can make so many and still be in a fine position just because there's no real way. I want to bring up Q's done a great job. You'll watch him. He saves his Hex, and he's just getting the AM illusion. Every time there's a wall down, he makes sure that there's no way that the AM is actually acting against him. It's a very important role. Because
that's really that's one of the win conditions for CDC right now is to get that big wall combo with AM illusion contributing damage, because they just don't have the raw damage output.
And if
you're seeing in a lot of these
and
fights.
if you drain his mana, like AM is a vastly different hero. If he can't blink, like, what was it, 1500 range every 3.5 seconds.
All right, they got a little bit of vision here. Aster kind of going for a smoke. Roshan's going to be up.
By the way, I love that Gem is back. I was very sad that Gem went away for a while with unlimited 6-minute sentries. I think it's super cool that Gem is back. It's always something we talk about.
Carapace on the Anti-Mage, but they do have the Glimmer Cape for him. Morphling is going to get taunted. He's not morphing strength. He's taking a lot of damage, but he did get the BKB off. One more bash from Comet. Just core BKBs traded. Baboka and Q look for an angle into the fight, but they don't find it, and they will just be forced to retreat. XM suspects that there might still be a Shadow Shaman here. Did he see that? Well, he knew, but didn't. He doubted himself, maybe?
He might have been looking somewhere else. I don't think he was going to be able to get it.
So what are we talking about? Are we talking about one more Roche fight here, and that's the game?
No, it's going to be another 18 minutes.
Look, if this game continues, there's a point, level 25 morph with another item, you're equal to the AM.
Yep.
And this is where it starts to get scary for Aster. They want to fight now.
All right. Well, CDC, they're in the pit. Ember Eggs just scouting, but they actually have the Anti-Mage over at bottom. They're losing one here. Ancient Apparition just barely surviving Q, going to try and keep them here with the Mass Serpent Wards, but this is all just space for Anti-Mage. Kama going in there, even XM trying to find an opportunity to back out and maybe go for a TP, but AM just takes the free damage on the bottom tower.
But they've already killed a tier 3. You know, this damage is nice, but it's not
strategically significant.
Exactly. Wow, yeah.
No, it's just weird, right? We talk about each of these individual decisions in the fights by Aster, okay? And every time you can rationalize, okay, here's why they backed off. Okay, AM was in danger. Okay, here's why they were conservative this time.
When does it become too much?
But yeah, the fact is, at some point to win a Dota game, you got to take a risk.
And a calculated risk. Could you explain risk? Because I believe that's a big part of economic theory, and I think our viewers at home would appreciate that lesson as we wait for this Roche fight to commence.
Ellen, is it risky to have unprotected sex?
What the?
Yo,
what
I don't know what changed.
This isn't a laughing
what
matter,
just happened on
We
the
had a lot
couch
more
here?
fun last
Yeah,
night. We're talking about Dota way too much right now. That's
I
all I want
agree.
to say.
You can see Kevin's like his body language
I've been
right
trying
now
real
is-
hard. I'm like, guys, let's have some more jokes.
You know, it's
I'm
bad if
down.
Kevin's
I'm
trying
down.
to
Kyle's
have
trying to
fun.
show off for
Now
Nahaz,
talk about
obviously.
risk. Nahaz.
No,
Nahaz
dude,
is
hey,
here
I
now.
want to.
That's the difference.
No,
That's the
no,
only thing I can
Kevin.
point
Let's
to.
talk about unprotected sex. God, what the?
It's not a way
We're
weirder
not
when you talk
talking about
it.
it. He's asking if there's risk and how risky it would be and whether or not it's a good decision.
Golly.
All right, Anti-Mage.
This is what the kids nowadays want to hear.
We're about to have
I don't know.
the no.
I just turned 27.
All right,
I'm a dinosaur.
All right, we got the no boots 6 slot. We got the double damage on Anti-Mage. If there was ever a time to make something happen, it has to be this for Aster. They've got the Shadow Blade on the axe. They're scouting for something. What can they find? They jump in. They do get the taunt over on the Nyx Assassin once again. James is the one who gets caught first, but Chion's going for the backlines instead. They find the Darkseer. They focus him first. Morphling protected a little bit by the Ice Blast. Still fairly tanky. Does manage to waveform away. But Kama is still hot on his heels. And Morphling pops the BKB, but that's just to get out of here. He does have the Ember form.
I love the way they're playing this game. You know, the axe initiates, but instead of going for that target, Aster's AM Ember just immediately jump the back line. You know there's going to be a Darkseer in the vicinity. And they're just outplaying CDEC right now.
Show me buyback status for a second. Do Morph and Lesh have buy?
Yes.
Okay.
Can you show the items as well to the stream? I wanted to bring up a couple.
You want this?
Yeah. I really like the Skyrath's decision to get Vlad's. When you don't have lifesteal on the AM, someone's got to buy it, and there really weren't any better options. I also like the Leshrac getting an Aeon Disc, but problem is that he's so countered in this game that he just can't, he's not doing enough damage, right? And he hasn't scaled as well as you would hope.
Yeah.
When Leshracs are winning games, they're at the top of the charts. When you're behind an Ember, it's a very tough game, and Chuan is actually going to finish off a Hex right about now, it appears. Might save buyback. They are threatened by a ton of base damage in the event they were to lose an engagement.
I like the Hex spy. I feel like there's just so many defensive items that
Blink
Ember buys
forward,
these
just
days.
go for the AA, clean him up. There's a little bit of chain stun, but XXS is here to help him out. They do have the follow-up stun. Kama in some danger. Once again, losing the Aegis. Going to put that BKB in. XM just charging forward.
What?
They bring down the Axe. Anti-Mage inside of the base. Are we going to see another Rax defended successfully here by CDEC? Oh, the snakes. Okay, the snakes.
They're not hitting. They didn't hit the snakes, though. You got to hit the snakes. Didn't they watch Chamber of Secrets?
Anti-Mage lost that Aegis,
They only
surprisingly.
hit that snake one time. Let's be real, dude. I think.
Oh man.
Can't remember how they killed it.
It just makes me feel old that the go-to snake reference is now Harry Potter instead of Indiana Jones.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. I watched that show or the movie when I was really young, so I feel your pain, but I didn't relate
He
to
didn't
it.
kill the snakes, though. There wasn't a
Yeah,
plot
that's
point to
true.
kill the snakes. It
That's
was just
true.
that he was afraid of them.
It was like the most
I hate
mainstream
snakes.
snake reference, basically.
We have the Hex
Yeah,
on
that's
this
what I'm saying.
Ember.
Snakes on a plane?
They're rallying
God.
behind their
An
Morphling.
American classic.
Only
one
Samuel L.
of the best 5
Jackson
movies of all time.
can
I
do a
think.
movie like that with a straight face and still be cool.
You know, Sam is the highest grossing, I think, actor of all time now.
Really?
Actually, that's not true.
For movies that he's been in?
For like for movies
No.
that he's been in.
Because the MCU.
Let me see. MCU. Let me check.
I mean, he's been in a lot of really iconic movies for literally his entire life.
No,
So,
oh, I
yeah,
know.
he's-
I'm
it's
not.
Sam, it's Sam Jackson, then Harrison Ford, then Tom Hanks. Then
But I'm
Freeman.
saying that the
Oh.
MCU is what would have put him over. I knew it was
Because
Ford
he-
and Hanks.
Because he's in
And the
for a
MCU is
few
what would've
minutes
put him
for
on-
every
over the top.
MCU movie, pretty much.
That's cool though. I mean,
All right.
That's a good point. He's been in them.
Yes. Aster, they are smoking up. They're smoking
He was
past
in
their
the-
Ember.
He was literally in the last the one before this most recent one.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
He's
at
in
the
a lot
end.
of
Yeah.
Tarantino
Infinity
movies.
War.
What was
Count
it?
it.
dude, it's Nick Fury. It's legit. You don't question Nick Fury.
All
How?
right.
By the way, like, who do I have to suck up to get some of the like liquid branded Marvel merchandise? Oh my God.
Actually,
looks
yeah,
so
that's
cool.
that's pretty cool.
Nahaz, we only sell out for our Instagrams.
We're,
All
we're
right,
fighting
fair
outside
enough,
of the
fair
base,
enough.
same way that all these fights have started.
No.
It's James dying first. He gets jumped. He buys back immediately. The Ember's in the back lines looking for the Darkseer. Not going to let him get that back wall off. Kama is on the exact same warpath. They're looking for 1, 2, 3, but the Abyssal Blade gets reflected. Anti-Mage getting auto-attacked down by Eve. Can they actually finish this Darkseer? He's still got a decent amount of mana, and Anti-Mage is forced to back away into
my
the
God.
river. On the other side of the fight, they did isolate and bring down XM. No buyback for him. Shackle onto James. This is his second life for the fight. So once he's out, he's done. The Force Staff does save him for a little bit longer, but the Anti-Mage cleans him up. 1, 2, 3. Finally gets the wall illusion, but they can't actually finish it. Ancient Apparition chased down to the backlines by the Ember Spirit. He's almost dead. Cold Feet not going to catch him. Where's the Morphling? He did actually die in the midst of all of this. He's now bought back.
Yeah, we forgot a big.
God, look at that AM illusion, by the way. Look at what it
Yeah.
cost them to kill that.
We forgot he was Mace Windu, dudes. That's a huge
Oh,
franchise.
yeah. No,
Forgot
I
about
didn't
that one.
forget. I mean, again, you are. Who but Samuel L. Jackson could make a purple lightsaber look that cool? I'm sorry, there is no one else.
I think Brian Banana Slam Jamma Caravan could, but he just wasn't old enough at the time to play the character.
Could have played one of the younglings, probably.
That's true. Would have fit his character type as well.
Okay.
So he could have been brutally slaughtered by
Yes.
Anakin?
I think
All
he
right.
would. Yeah. That
50 seconds to wall. Is this just Megas, folks?
it's at
Yes.
least one Rax.
They do have Glyph on the Radiant side, so maybe can't get the very last lane. 25 seconds to the Leshrac, 25 seconds to the AA. But Kama really wants this.
I mean, the question is, how do you take the fight once you respawn?
Yeah. I think even the wall being on cooldown for a while is the big problem.
Yep.
Morphling does have this MKB looking pretty stacked. Can they actually close this out? They're going to jump in. They do get the stun. Can they bring him down? Eve managed to dodge out of the way of the taunt. Nicely done, but they do immediately lose the Nyx Assassin. And once again, they find the Darkseer chain bashed into Oblivion on the back lines. They get the Hex onto the Skywrath Mage, looking to follow it up. Leshrac is here with the control, and they bring down Sky, looking to chase Aster outside of the base. Q does get the TP, and this lane of Rack survives, so the tier 3 not quite so lucky.
Poor James, his life expectancy in fights this game has been like less than a second.
He has to be the one to go and scout on the front lines. though.
Kyle's
Nobody else
point
can
about
do
lack
it.
of initiation.
Speaking of life expectancy, Alan, what do you think yours is?
Well,
Try not to think about it.
every day I cast with you, Kyle, takes a couple days off it. So
Oh, just only days.
yeah, maybe
not
more.
months, yeah.
I don't know.
Man, they committed really hard on the aim in the top fight, too. The Morphling committed both waveforms trying to kill him, but they just had issues disabling him. But they're considering how far behind they are in net worth, they're actually making this look kind of close. For a 51-minute game, 11 to 33.
Yeah, Anti-Mage has 46.6.
He's 20K up on the next closest
Yeah.
hero.
In fairness,
It's
I mean,
ludicrous.
in fairness,
Good
look at his
9
his backpack. Like,
Actually, 9 slotted.
yeah, and another 7.5K.
Wait.
You guys want to talk about effective net worth?
Where's this asshole's Aghanim Scepter? What is he doing?
Oh, that's true. It's a good
Yeah.
point. He should synth up.
He ate a shard,
Synth
right?
up.
But he
Yes.
didn't eat
Ditch
it.
And he-
these power
and he's
threads,
got
man.
another
What-
7K
what are-
gold.
What are these doing for you at this point?
Bro, spending. Come on. There's not a lot of circumstances we get to see this.
I'm disappointed.
What's insane is that currently,
But his
death-
buyback is expensive, friends. It is
Yeah.
a
Yeah, I was about to say.
It's a 3.7K buyback.
He loses
what happens when he got
11
50K net worth?
1175 on death as well.
Oh,
but if you
boy.
bought an Ags, his buyback cost would decrease too, right?
That's true.
Wow.
It's like writing things off
Oh,
on your
does
taxes.
does the buff not count towards your net worth? I guess not.
Yeah, it does.
Does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, should.
All right,
I
you're
think
probably
they
right.
fixed that.
What
Is
if
it?
you just
I don't
don't
know.
tell the
Dude,
IRS
Kevin,
about it?
are you okay? You're wrong
should-
about
wait a minute, I
mechanics. You're
should check
trying
that.
to have
wait,
fun.
wait, guys! 2 double damages. What if they stacked?
Oh my
They do
god.
That's why they call it double damage.
Then it could spawn out.
Quadruple damage?
Then you could have multiple DD runes spawn outside the Roche
Yeah.
pit. And
I was
tilt
gonna
the
say,
I was just
hey,
gonna ask that.
I was like,
Alan, how do you feel about DDs in the Roche
I
pit?
was about to say, hey guys, you want a 2-minute break?
I
Alan, what do
knew
you
it was
think?
coming.
No, but seriously, what do you think about DDs working on Roche and buildings? No, I'm curious.
You
legitimately.
want me to elaborate?
I would love for you to elaborate. We have a lot of time here in this game.
I think it is ridiculous that you have professional games potentially decided by double damage runes spawning outside the Roche pit, especially now that you can have Roshans done at the 30-40 minute mark that are giving away ags, that are giving away
True.
refresher shards. I think
Isn't
that's-
managing the rune randomness in the game part of the skill of Dota?
Yeah, totally. 10% chance for it to spawn.
They said that about Artifact as well, actually. That was my
Ooh,
argument.
Ouch.
You can manage the RNG, you know. Everybody was mad about the RNG.
Huh.
Same argument, you know.
Okay.
I
would,
love
I would
how
just
somebody
argue
brings up Artifact and
everything dies.
Room's
Everyone's like, I don't
silent.
care. But there's very little RNG in Dota, though.
CDEC trying to fight on their
I'm
vision.
semi-okay with it.
Couple of pings coming out XXS. Actually, really good vision here for CDEC. Kama, really good counterspell, going to reflect that Hex right back, and out they go.
I just think it's indicative, right? What you saw just a moment ago. I mean, you have a 9-slotted AM, and one of those slots is dedicated to a bottled DD rune because it's just that, it's that game changing, right?
Yep, it represents a lot of damage for sure.
2/3 of a rapier.
Yep.
I really want to see this Ag synth. We're at a point where he does almost have the gold to maintain buyback as well. And this, I will say, to me, Aster's played great, but the way they're closing this game does not bode well for them, in my opinion.
No.
And I think that especially when you get to the playoffs, with the NA guys, we're talking about Vega, how they can do great in groups, and playoffs is a different beast. I just think that this is far too passive.
I don't think you could possibly. I think this is terrible Dota. Honestly,
Jeez.
it's making me
Jumping
angry.
around. They've got the Shadow Shaman. Q has been caught out. They've got a Dust for him this time around. Leshrac caught out, but he's got the A on this, the Force Staff, keeping him alive, but he is getting bashed. Couldn't get the BKB off. Does have a buyback. Can he get back in here? Nyx Assassin also dead. Where is this Morphling? He's entering the fight as the Ember Spirit.
It's like,
And Roshan's dead.
Like your 3 through 5 are XXS, Bobica, and Q, right? I mean, dude, these guys can play. Like, what are you doing sitting back?
Look, check out current gold for a second as well. I know that this gold net worth lead is huge, right? But 20.
A lot of it's just
changed,
sitting in inventories.
But it was
yeah.
20K of that 30. And the 10K gold lead
Jump
51
in,
minutes.
call.
is nothing.
They've got the Darks here. Can they actually save him? No. Dead for 105. He does jump forward. He immediately takes out the Shadow Shaman. They've got a Lincolns on him, so double Lincolns. Helping to protect him.
And that hero is the only one on the dire side with no buyback. That's a huge kill. And it ensures that you're still going to buy yet more time. And the danger, you know, I always love to quote Dendy when we get to this point. You know, my one of my favorite Dota players discussed all the time about how Dota in the late game wasn't real. Do you hex first, or did you not? Did you kill him? Was there a DD? Like, the way you can methodically win a game is no longer viable. It just comes down to chaos.
Yeah.
And you don't want
Some guy can
to be up
randomly get one shot and you just lose the game.
You don't want to leave it up to just
Yeah.
chance in this
I
sort of
agree.
stage. Yeah, you've got a huge lead as Aster, but you know you haven't secured the game by any means.
It's ready.
Happening status. Anti-Mage has finished farming.
Break it down, Basskip.
right.
What does the baby do?
So it gives him a longer stun. It's kind of like Reaper's Scythe on the Mana Void. If he dies in that stun, then your longest cooldown ability is on cooldown for 70 seconds longer when you respawn. Right?
Darkseer's wall is going on cooldown, baby.
Oh, Nyx
Never mind.
Assassin.
Okay,
I
saving
think
it.
he also gets kill credit, right? If it's during the stun, same way as... Oh, Lord. All right. Well,
Yeah,
that's
he's-
5 remnants. You want 5 more? There's the Refresher Shard. Kill off 2. They're coming in looking for this final lane of barracks. Eve is going to turn around with the auto attacks onto Kama. He is going to give this Morphling with BKB a little bit of respect and back himself out of there. But the Ember still just harassing. Being a nuisance, James tried with the spike cap. Not going to find him. Jump in. They're looking for the Morphling. Do they have the damage? They do. And he is down for 125 seconds. That might just be the game. Ember in the backlines forces out the Yules. XM in the front. Yeah, where is AM actually? Oh, he's not full HP.
He's
so
TPing
all
out.
right, heal.
Of course.
Heal BOT2.
Morph will not have gold for buyback, however, so this is still
He's
probably
300
the
short.
game, assuming they enter the base.
Yeah, they have full 100 seconds.
They are so careful.
Oh my
But
god.
It's
God,
incredible.
I mean, sell out, get the mega creeps.
I just thought it was like, I thought he would just stay, just slap the building.
Who's going to kill him with the Morphling dead?
I just...
And even if they do, you have buyback.
Maybe he thinks, I guess he's thinking that Morphling has buy. Morphling should have buy at this point, but still, it is a little bit absurd. We got the Abyssal Blade onto the Ancient Apparition. He walks into the wall. They do have this illusion. Vacuum on 3. Nyx Assassin is getting locked down. Mystic Flare is going to bring him out of this fight. XM and the Darkseer, all that they've got left to hold on. XM desperately buying any item that he can to take this final fight, but there is finally the GG called. It was an excruciating 58 minutes.
Did I tell you, Nahaz, or did I tell you?
You did tell me.
I said 18 more minutes. I was wrong. It was 16.
Wow.
AM died 0
these
times.
These players
and it was
are too good to play Dota this
It was
way.
a 58-minute game. He died 0 times. How in the hell does that happen? But they got the W. They didn't drop it. They didn't get that close to dropping it. It was just, they won it. I just wish it would have been a little faster.
A win's a win, I guess, but
it just...
better teams are going to punish you for doing that.
I feel like if CDEC have a real initiator, because remember, they're playing this entire game without the ability to actually make moves. They can't punish Aster's passivity. If they have a stun, if they have a hero that can blink in and find a kill, or at the very least tank damage, right? You saw how that last fight went. It was just one after another. They would die, a little bit of a reset, another guy dies. No one can actually play the game. And it's just frustrating because you're handicapped by the draft. I still think that...
Do Aster win with any hero other than Anti-Mage? If they didn't have the Anti-Mage there, do you think CDEC win? Because otherwise, the Darkseer won't be as shut down.
The Darkseer being not in the game, I think, is the one factor.
And Leshrac had to itemize weirdly as well.
Yeah,
so
that was like, if Darkseer is in this game, he doesn't even need to be ahead. He just needs to be he needs to be ahead of the Axe.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be on that hero. And if he's where he should be in this game, the draft is...
We could talk about this for a while, but they're already ready for the next game, and we need to send it to a break. So let's do that real fast. We'll be back in 5 or 6 minutes with our next series, which will be...
Sirius versus IG.
My man.
Oh, all right.
See you in a moment.